I am Lana, and I have a tale to share, one that transformed the very fabric of my existence. It was a typical getaway at my husband's family's beach house, yet an unforeseen event unfolded that would forever alter my perception of that place. The occurrences during those fleeting days completely transformed my perceptions of loyalty, love, and my own identity. This tale unfolds with fervor, allure, and the challenging choices we were compelled to confront. I invite you to remain by my side until the conclusion of this tale, for its ending will leave you in awe. For 6 years, I have shared my life with Evan as his wife. Our union has consistently remained steady, free from significant turmoil or discord. Evan embodies reliability, and I have always felt fortunate to have discovered such a partner. Yet, on a fateful day, the course of events shifted dramatically. Evan proposed that we retreat to his family's beach house in South Carolina for our vacation. A sense of unease washed over me, for Edward, his father, had always struck me as somewhat aloof and unapproachable. Nevertheless, Evan reassured me that the journey would be enjoyable and serene, for he held numerous childhood memories tied to this location. On Friday morning, we set out early. The journey stretched on, yet Evan endeavored to captivate me with tales from his youth. He reminisced about the times he and Edward would cast their lines into the water, sculpt grand sand castles, and embark on adventures under the stars. As I absorbed his words, a sense of anticipation for the journey began to stir within me. Upon our arrival, I was captivated by the stunning beauty of the location. Perched gracefully on a modest cliff, the beach house offered a breathtaking panorama of the vast ocean below. Edward joined us on the porch. I was taken aback by his warm reception. He embraced Evan warmly and, to my surprise, turned to me with a beaming smile and a gentle kiss on the cheek. Edward stood tall, his well-built frame showcasing an impressive physique. His hair, now touched by gray, only enhanced his allure. His fitness and energy were strikingly apparent from the outset. That evening, while sharing dinner on the terrace, I started to perceive him not merely as a stern businessman, but as an individual with a profound inner life. He recounted tales of his journeys and the labor of love that went into constructing the house with his own hands. It started to dawn on me why Evan held such admiration for his father. The following day, Evan found himself on the receiving end of a call from his workplace. It became evident that certain matters demanded his prompt focus. He expressed his regrets and mentioned that he had to depart for the day, assuring that he would return by evening. A twinge of anxiety washed over me as I found myself alone with Edward, yet he quickly alleviated my unease by proposing we spend the day together, promising to unveil the beauty of the surroundings. Our journey began with a stroll along the shoreline. Edward revealed to me his cherished sanctuary, a tiny, secluded cove shielded from the gaze of the outside world. He shared with me how he frequently visited that place to reflect or simply savor the tranquility. We settled on the warm sand, engaging in a conversation that spanned the vast expanse of life's myriad topics. Edward recounted tales of his past, weaving in his dreams and aspirations. At a certain moment, I realized that I genuinely appreciated his presence. Once we finished our lunch, Edward proposed that we embark on a bike ride. We pedaled down slender trails, savoring the invigorating sea breeze and the warmth of the sun. I experienced the carefree exuberance of a teenager reveling in the bliss of summer vacation. We shared laughter, exchanged playful banter, and dared one another to races. When we finally made our way back home, the hour had grown late. We were weary yet filled with joy. Edward proposed that we enjoy a glass of wine on the terrace while taking in the beauty of the sunset. I found myself in agreement, sensing that this day stood among the finest of my existence. We lingered together on the swing, gazing as the sun gradually descended beneath the horizon, transforming the sky into a vibrant canvas of red and orange hues. Edward appeared to relish each passing moment of the evening. At a certain moment, his hand found its way to the back of my chair, a fleeting touch that lingered in the air between us. His hand exuded warmth and strength, sending a subtle shiver coursing through me. He started to express his fondness for those serene evenings. I detected a trace of sorrow in his voice and inquired about the source of his apparent melancholy. Edward let out a heavy sigh and recounted the countless hours he had spent in solitude following the passing of his wife. In his eyes, I beheld a profound sorrow, a silent testament to the depth of his longing for companionship. Our dialogues deepened into more intimate exchanges. We exchanged our most profound thoughts and emotions with one another. Edward shared his aspirations and anxieties, while I recounted my visions and letdowns. At a certain moment, he draped his arm around my shoulders, and I sensed his proximity begin to stir something within me. As the last rays of the sunset slipped away beyond the horizon, we retreated indoors. Edward set the table for dinner, and we found ourselves once more on the terrace, this time bathed in the soft glow of the moonlight. He filled our glasses with more wine, and I sensed the air between us grow increasingly intimate. His gaze held a tenderness and warmth that captivated me, making it impossible to turn away. At last, Edward rose to his feet and extended his hand, guiding me toward my room. I grasped his hand, sensing the warmth flow between us. As we strolled down the corridor, a quickening pulse echoed in my chest. In that instant, it dawned on me that a connection deeper than mere friendship was beginning to unfold between us. Upon arriving at my room, he paused and gazed deeply into my eyes. "Lana, I want you to know that you are an incredible woman," he said gently. His words resonated within me profoundly. "Thank you, Edward. I truly value your company as well," I responded, a warm flush creeping across my cheeks. We lingered in the corridor, time stretching endlessly, and I sensed a spark igniting between us. He gradually leaned closer and softly pressed his lips against my cheek. It was utterly surprising and gentle, leaving me with no choice but to smile. "Good night, Lana," he murmured, retreating into the shadows. "Good night, Edward," I said, stepping into my room and gently shutting the door behind me. My heart raced, a vivid reminder that this day had irrevocably altered the course of my life. As I reclined in bed, sleep eluded me and my mind wandered through the possibilities of what lay ahead. The following morning, once Evan had departed to attend to his professional obligations, Edward proposed that we enjoy another day in each other's company. He spoke of a fantastic skate park close by, a place where we could enjoy roller skating. With a moment's pause, I felt a twinge of uncertainty, my skills in this area lacking. Yet, Edward's confidence was unwavering as he promised to guide me through it effortlessly. I selected my beloved short skirt and a fitted top that accentuated my silhouette. I yearned to embody confidence and allure. As I descended the stairs, Edward met my gaze and offered a nod of approval. His eyes sparkled with a captivating light, sending a shiver of excitement through me. Upon our arrival at the skate park, Edward commenced demonstrating the fundamental movements to me. He exhibited a re-Edwardable patience and a deep sense of care, always offering words of encouragement that lifted my spirits. In spite of my attempts, a lingering uncertainty enveloped me on the skates, and I frequently found myself teetering off balance. Edward grasped my hands, anchoring me in place. At one moment, as I was nearly gliding with confidence along the path, I abruptly sensed myself slipping from control. Edward responded without hesitation, enveloping me in his powerful embrace. I was enveloped by his presence, our faces mere inches apart, the warmth of his chest against me. As I gazed into his eyes, a spark ignited within me, quickening the rhythm of my heart. He leaned in ever so slightly and pressed his lips against mine with a tender kiss. His lips, warm and soft, enveloped me, and in that moment, the world around us faded away. Though my mind protested vehemently, insisting that this was a mistake, my body betrayed me, responding to his kiss with a fervor I had not anticipated. We lingered in that space, as if time had ceased to exist, enveloped in the essence of the moment. As we finally separated, I caught a glimpse of the same yearning reflected in his gaze that stirred within me. "Lana, I beg your forgiveness. I didn't intend to," Yet I find myself unable to cease, he murmured, his embrace tightening around me. Edward, I can't either, I responded, and our lips intertwined once more in a kiss that was even more fervent and gentle than the last. Upon concluding our roller skating adventure, we made our way back home. It was evident to us both that a shift had occurred in our relationship. We lingered in the kitchen, striving for an air of normalcy, yet the tension hung thick in the atmosphere. Edward abruptly rose to his feet and made his way toward me. He gradually bent closer, pressing his lips against mine once more. I offered no resistance whatsoever. His lips, both tender and resolute, drew me in irresistibly. Edward started to gradually peel away my skirt, his actions assured and deliberate. His fingers brushed against my skin, igniting a cascade of goosebumps that danced across my body. He then removed my top, leaving us both clad only in our undergarments. Edward paused, stepping back to gaze at me with a fervor and reverence that made me feel like the most coveted woman on the planet. He drew me near, his lips finding mine once more, the kiss unfolding with a languid intensity. His hands glided over my body, discovering every contour. I replied with fervor, my desires igniting once more. Edward hoisted me onto the kitchen table, his hands roaming over my body as his lips remained locked with mine. We flowed together, leaving behind all thoughts save for the yearning that bound us. In that instant, the world around faded into oblivion. We united, our bodies and souls intertwining in a powerful wave of passion and love. When it had all come to an end, we found ourselves sprawled across the kitchen table, entwined in each other's arms, struggling to regain our breath. Edward pressed his lips softly against my forehead, murmuring, "Lana, you are truly re-Edwardable." With a gentle smile, I nestled closer to him. That moment transformed everything, and I understood that numerous challenges lay ahead. Yet, in that instant, I felt a profound sense of happiness, convinced I had made the right choice. Several days had passed since Edward and I first surrendered to the depths of our passion. Those days brimmed with stolen glances, ephemeral touches, and clandestine kisses. We were acutely aware that our choices teetered on the edge of peril and morality, yet the allure was simply too strong to deny. I resolved to astonish Edward. I sought something extraordinary, a spark that would further fuel the flames of our connection. On Saturday morning, while Evan was immersed in his work once more, I ventured into town in search of the ideal gift. After wandering through numerous shops, I finally discovered a quaint boutique brimming with an alluring selection. A latex bunny costume and mask captured my gaze, exuding an undeniable allure. It was precisely what I had been seeking. Upon my return home, I found Edward in the garden, engrossed in some task. I slipped past him silently and ascended to my room to change. The latex costume embraced my form, highlighting every curve with precision. As I donned the mask, I gazed into the mirror, taking in the reflection before me. It appeared utterly captivating. Descending the stairs, I discovered Edward in the kitchen. He gazed at me, his eyes expanding with a mix of astonishment and reverence. "Lana, you look amazing," he whispered, drawing closer to me. His hands swiftly encircled my waist, drawing me in with an irresistible pull. As our lips met, a wave of passion surged between us, igniting an intensity we had never known before. Edward hoisted me onto the kitchen table, just as he had on that unforgettable first occasion. His lips brushed against my neck, while his hands roamed over my body, gliding over the delicate latex. With every caress, my longing intensified. In that moment, we surrendered to each other, lost in a realm where nothing else mattered. In an instant, the kitchen door burst open. Evan entered the room. He paused in the threshold, his complexion drained and his gaze filled with astonishment. He gazed at us, disbelief etched across his face as he struggled to comprehend the scene before him. "What on earth is happening here?" he bellowed. Edward and I sprang away from each other. I snatched the closest towel to shield myself as Edward attempted to articulate his thoughts, but Evan had already launched himself at him. "How could you do this, Dad? How could you both betray me like this?" His voice resonated with a tumult of fury and anguish. With a sudden blow, Evan struck Edward, igniting a fierce altercation. They tumbled across the ground, trading strikes with fervor. I cried out, desperate to intervene, yet my efforts were in vain. Their wrath was overwhelming. At last, Evan forcefully shoved Edward aside and rose to his feet, his visage twisted in agony and disillusionment. "I never wish to lay eyes on either of you again." "Absolutely." He spoke, his voice quivering with emotion. He pivoted and departed, abandoning us in shambles. I found myself rooted in place, uncertainty enveloping me. Edward approached, his face edward by bruises and his shirt in tatters, and enveloped me in a hug. "Lana, we need to talk," he murmured softly. "Yet, this moment is not the right one. Please allow me a moment." I nodded, tears cascading down my cheeks. We found ourselves isolated, fragmented and heartbroken by the events that had unfolded. Evan had departed, leaving his words to reverberate in the corridors of my thoughts. Absolutely not. We understood that a challenging and arduous journey lay before us as we faced the repercussions of our choices. In that fleeting moment, we embraced tightly, drawing comfort from the singular treasure that remained to us, our love, unwavering amidst the chaos. A multitude of days had slipped by since the harrowing clash. The dwelling, once brimming with joy and light, now lay shrouded in stillness and deep shadows. Edward and I were unable to discover tranquility. Our minds repeatedly drifted back to Evan, to the depths of his suffering and the weight of his disillusionment. We understood that our choices had not merely broken his trust, but had also fractured the very fabric of our family. Perched on the veranda, I observed the waves softly caressing the shoreline. Edward drew near, his visage marred by bruises and scratches. He settled next to me, gently grasping my hand. "Lana, I recognize that we erred. We betrayed Evan, and I'm uncertain if we can ever mend this," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "Edward, I'm uncertain about our next steps," I responded, my eyes brimming with tears once more. "Yet, there is one certainty I hold. I can no longer endure this deception. It is essential that we discover a means to reconcile with Evan." Edward inclined his head in acknowledgement. "It seems essential that we make an effort to engage him in conversation. Let us reach out and extend our apologies." We made the choice to reach out to Evan. My heart raced uncontrollably as I pressed the digits of his number. On the third ring, he answered the call. "Hello, Evan," I began, my voice quivering with emotion. "It is Lana. Edward and I would like to have a conversation with you. We deeply regret the events that transpired." The line remained eerily quiet, a stillness that hung heavily in the air. Then Evan replied with a chilling tone. "Lana, it matters not to me. I wish to sever all ties and no longer wish to see or hear from you. Your betrayal cuts deep, and forgiveness is a distant notion I cannot entertain." My heart plummeted, heavy with sorrow. "Evan, we kindly ask for the opportunity to clarify our position." Edward made an attempt to step in. "No," Evan interjected. "You have faded from my reality. I desire no connection with you." And then he ended the call. My gaze lingered on the phone, disbelief washing over me at the events that had just unfolded. Edward embraced me, and we lingered in silence, grasping the profound weight of our treachery. Evan had turned us away, and there was no turning back. We came to realize that our actions had carved a profound scar that Evan found impossible to forgive. We had shattered not just his trust, but also the very fabric of our family. This moment, Edward, an irrevocable turning point for us. The ensuing weeks unfolded beneath a bleak and oppressive atmosphere. We endeavored to uplift one another, yet our hearts lay shattered. We persisted in residing within the house, which had taken on an air of emptiness and chill. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the evening, Edward began to speak from his perch on the veranda. "Lana, it is time for us to progress. While the past remains unalterable, we hold the power to shape what lies ahead." I cast a glance his way and gave a subtle nod. "Indeed, you are correct. Though Evan is lost to us, we must seek a path to coexist with this reality. We chose to reach out to a family counselor to navigate our emotions and discover strategies to manage our guilt. These sessions illuminated our self-awareness and deepened our understanding of one another, while also guiding us in crafting a strategy to navigate the repercussions of our actions. As the days passed, we discovered comfort in the little pleasures that life had to offer. We dedicated ourselves to one another, seeking to offer our unwavering support. We understood that our journey would be fraught with challenges, yet we stood prepared to face it side by side. Our bond with Edward grew increasingly profound and genuine. We came to understand that our emotions for one another transcended mere passion. They were rooted in genuine love and deep affection. We embarked on the journey of crafting a new future, brimming with aspirations and designs. Yet, the specter of our deeds perpetually remained. We understood that the guilt and pain we had inflicted upon Evan would forever linger, an inescapable shadow in our lives. Yet, we pressed on, determined to improve and glean wisdom from our missteps. Several months had passed since Evan cut all connections with us. Life, with a gentle persistence, started to unfold in a new direction. Edward and I made the decision to part with the beach house, seeking a new location to begin anew. Our bond deepened, and we discovered the beauty in every shared moment. We relocated to a quaint coastal town, a place untouched by the shadows of our history. In that place, we acquired a charming home overlooking the ocean and embarked on the journey of creating a new life. Edward secured a position at a nearby establishment, while I embarked on the journey of curating art exhibitions at the local gallery. Our days brimmed with uncomplicated pleasures, strolls along the shore, twilight meals on the terrace, and the delight of forging new friendships. Yet, even amidst the facade of contentment, the memory of Evan lingered in our minds, refusing to fade. We held on to the hope that, in the passage of time, he might discover within himself the capacity to forgive us, even if that moment never came to fruition. One evening, as Edward and I lingered on the terrace, captivated by the fading hues of the sunset, a pressing desire to discuss our future began to stir within me. "Edward," I started, "we have shared so much over the years. Our past will forever be woven into the fabric of who we are, yet I hold a steadfast belief that we can carve out a path toward a joyful future." He gazed at me with affection and gave a gentle nod. "Indeed, Lana, I share that sentiment as well. I envision a future brimming with joy and affection. A second chance is what we truly deserve." He enveloped me in his arms and pressed a gentle kiss to my forehead. "Lana, I share in your happiness as well. Each day I share with you fills me with gratitude. A new life has been crafted, and I am convinced that countless joyful moments await us on the horizon." We carried on with our lives, cherishing each fleeting moment. We recognized that our errors would forever linger, yet they need not dictate the course of our future. From their lessons, we evolved and became more resilient. At times, Evan would cross my mind. I wished that he had discovered his way and could embrace joy. I understood that forgiveness would elude us, yet I held on to the hope that he might eventually find his way and carve out his own path in life. Our narrative may not have been flawless, yet it belonged to us. We traversed the shadows in search of illumination, and that odyssey shaped our very essence. We understood that numerous challenges loomed on the horizon, yet we stood prepared to confront them side by side. As I sat on the terrace with Edward, it dawned on me that our life, in spite of all odds, brimmed with love and hope. Ultimately, that stands as the paramount consideration.